Do you know that the most powerful thing in the world is not speaking, but remaining silent? Yes, that same silence which we often mistake for weakness or shyness is, in reality, your greatest strength. In today's world where everyone is in a rush to speak, the one who stays silent and observes becomes the real master. Because when you are silent, it's not just your voice that pauses. Your mind, focus, and self-control begin to speak. The author of The Power of Silence, Kelvin W. teaches us that silence is not a weakness, but a spiritual power, a mental discipline, and a life-transforming weapon. This book shows how, by controlling our thoughts, emotions, and reactions, we can not only attain mental peace, but also elevate our relationships, careers, and self-confidence to new heights. Kelvin believes that today's human is so lost in noise that they have forgotten how to hear their inner voice. But as soon as they return to silence, every aspect of their life begins to transform. Silence is often seen as emptiness, but Kelvin says the deepest answers lie in silence. When you stop talking, you start listening to yourself, to the world, and to those signals that are usually drowned out by noise. Every day we struggle with hundreds of thoughts, unnecessary conversations, the noise of social media, and the opinions of others. But when we learn to embrace silence, we reclaim ownership of our own mind. Silence gives us mental clarity. Kelvin says that a person who can control their words can also control their emotions. When you can remain calm in an argument or stressful situation, that's when you display your true strength. Silence isn't just about not speaking, it's about embracing the art of listening. When you listen attentively, you begin to understand others, and from there, depth, understanding, and trust grow in relationships. Kelvin explains that sometimes staying silent is the most effective way to leave an impact. People take a calm person more seriously because their words come from deep thought. Through silence, we can portray ourselves as mysterious and wise. Practicing silence calms not only the mind, but also the soul. When we meditate, practice yoga, or reflect inwardly, we begin to understand our inner depths. And from that arises true self-confidence and balance in life. Practical tips. Practice 10 minutes of silence daily, morning or night, without any devices. Pause for 5 seconds before reacting. This helps you learn to respond thoughtfully. Start listening more, speak less, especially in relationships. Spend time away from noise, in nature, in a park, or with yourself. Digital detox. Spend part of your day without screens. Emotional and spiritual benefits. Reduced stress, improved decision-making, increased self-awareness, emotional stability, deep sleep, and inner peace. Kelvin W. book teaches us that silence is not just a simple habit. It's a powerful tool that can transform our lives from within. Through silence, we not only get to know ourselves, but begin to see the world with a new perspective. Here's a question for you. If you were not allowed to speak for the next 24 hours, would you be ready to spend time with yourself? Think about it, because that might just be where the real change begins. Chapter 1. Does silence really speak? We often think of silence as the absence of words, but according to Kelvin W. silence is not just a condition, it's a powerful experience. It's a state where external noise fades away and the inner world begins to speak. Kelvin says true peace is the language of the soul. That is, true silence is the language of the soul. Here, silence doesn't mean simply not talking. It is a state of self-awareness, introspection, and mental stillness. It is the moment when we connect with our true voice. What is silence? Beyond definition, Kelvin divides silence into 3 levels. 1. External silence, when there is no sound around us, a peaceful environment free of noise. 2. Internal silence, when the constant chatter in our minds, useless thoughts and mental noise settles. 3. Spiritual silence, when we connect deeply with our existence, soul, and the universe. True silence begins not when we shut out external noise, but when we start hearing the voice within. Kelvin explains that silence not only provides mental relaxation, but also insight. In silence, one can see oneself without excuses or masks. Benefits of silence. Mental clarity, clear thinking emerges. Self-awareness helps recognize your true emotions. Stress relief reduces mental stress and anxiety. Creativity boost activates new areas of the brain. According to Kelvin, silence is the soil where the soul blossoms. Only when we step away from the noise can we truly understand ourselves. Meditation and silence are complements. Meditation is the practice of bringing silence within. Kelvin explains that meditation is not a task, but a state. When you are fully present, silence naturally happens. When we meditate, the pace of our thoughts slows down. This slowness draws us inward, toward our soul. Kelvin emphasizes again and again that silence is the doorway to introspection. All day we are absorbed in the outer world, social media, relationships, career, responsibilities. But we never pause or ask, who am I? What do I really want? These questions arise when we are silent, and the answers come too. In silence lies self-acceptance. Silence introduces us to the truth within. Kelvin highlights that in today's time, silence has almost become extinct. Everywhere there is sound, the ring of a phone, the noise of TV, notifications from social media. But the more we stay in noise, the further we move away from ourselves. Today's human is connected to the outside world, but has become disconnected from the self.